Captive, while everyone searched, the familiar street felt like a mockery. Nora stepped out and began walking the route Lily would have taken 2 blocks. That's all it had been. A 5-minute walk for a 6-year-old short legs. She passed the house where Max, the golden retriever, used to bark hello through the fence. The fence was gone now, replaced by a low hedge. The big maple tree, where Lily liked to collect helicopter seeds, had been cut down, leaving only a too smooth patch of lawn. At the intersection of Maple and 3rd, she stopped. The crossing guard post still stood, its octagonal stop sign now automated with flashing LED lights. No need for a human presence anymore. Technology had replaced Harold Walsh's watchful eyes and warm smile. The morning sun cast the same shadows it would have 8 years ago, and Nora could almost see him there in his fluorescent vest, one hand holding the stop sign, the other waving children across. Harold had been there every morning for over a decade, she remembered. He knew every child's name, asked about soccer games and spelling tests, kept a pocket full of stickers for kindergartners brave enough to cross without their parents. The intersection felt hollow without him. At the corner, a small memorial marker caught her eye. The bronze plaque was weathered but clean, surrounded by fresh marigolds. In memory of Lily Whitfield, forever 6 years old, a laminated card tucked among the flowers bore familiar handwriting. Still praying for answers, Mrs. Chen. Nora's throat tightened. Even after 8 years, the old neighbor maintained the small shrine. She touched the marker gently, remembering how Harold had been inconsolable when he learned about Lily's disappearance. He'd blamed himself terribly for having that doctor's appointment, convinced that, if he'd been at his post, Lily would have made it safely to school. For months afterward, he'd organized weekend search parties, printed flyers with his own money, walked through woods and fields, calling her name until his voice grew. At the 1-year memorial service, he'd wept openly, apologizing to Nora over and over for not being there. The weight of the morning's discoveries pressed down on her, while Harold was organizing searches, while the whole community was looking. Lily had been trapped in that crawlspace, 15 miles away, close enough to hear the search helicopters, perhaps, but impossibly far from help. Nora turned from the memorial and continued toward the school. The route took her past the police station where she'd spent so many hours, first giving statements, then reviewing security footage, then simply haunting the lobby for updates. Past St. Andrew's Church, where Father Martinez had held special prayer services every week for 6 months. Past Riverside Park, where volunteers had walked in grid formations, checking every bush, every culvert, every hidden space, except apparently the one that mattered. The elementary school appeared unchanged as she pulled into the visitor parking area. The same cheerful yellow paint, though perhaps a bit more faded. The same playground equipment where Lily had loved the spiral slide. The same flagpole where they'd lowered the flag to half-staff for a week after the disappearance. The bike racks stood empty in the afternoon sun. The same racks where Lily would have locked her bike when she was older, if she'd had the chance to grow older. Here, Nora sat in her car for a moment, gathering strength. Inside that building were people who might remember that terrible morning, who might have some forgotten detail that could help make sense of what happened. She needed to know who else had left, who might have had reason to harm a child. The Crawlspace discovery had opened new questions that demanded answers. The elementary school's main entrance still featured the same heavy wooden doors, though they now required a buzzer for entry. Nora pressed the button and identified herself to the secretary, hearing the electronic lock click open. The hallway, smelled exactly as she remembered. Floor wax, cafeteria food, and that indefinable scent of childhood energy. Her footsteps echoed on the polished linoleum as she made her way to the main office. A young woman emerged from the principal's office, extending her hand with a professional smile that softened when she recognized Nora's name. "Mrs. Whitfield, I'm Dr. Sarah Coleman. I've been expecting someone might come by after this morning's news. Please come in." Dr. Coleman couldn't have been older than 35, with neat auburn hair and kind eyes behind stylish glasses. Her office was organized but welcoming. Children's artwork decorating one wall, a small Zen garden on the windowsill. "I want you to know," she began, settling behind her desk, "that although I've only been here 3 years, I'm very familiar with Lily's case. Her memorial plaque in the hallway ensures we never forget. You weren't here when Nora let the sentence trail off. No, I took over when Principal Morrison retired, but I've read all the files, and the staff who were here have shared that memories. It affected everyone deeply." She turned to her computer. "I understand you might want to know about staff members from that time. I can access our employment records. The district digitized everything 5 years ago." Her fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up spreadsheets and personnel files. "This might be helpful. I'm showing 12 employees who left within 2 years of Lily's disappearance." She angled the monitor so Nora could see. 3 teachers took early retirement: Mrs. Gonzalez, Mr. Peterson, and Miss Kumar. 2 transferred to other districts. The art teacher, Miss Williams, went to Riverside Elementary, and Coach Bradley moved to the middle school. The head janitor, Carl Brennan, left after a background check revealed an old assault charge the district had somehow missed initially. Nora leaned forward. An assault charge from his 20s. Apparently, a bar fight that got out of hand. It should have shown up in his initial screening, but there was some confusion with his records. When it came to light during a routine recheck, the district had to let him go. Dr. Coleman scrolled further. 2 cafeteria workers moved out of state. The Jennings sisters. They were twins. Our music teacher, Mr. Yamazaki, passed away from cancer about 18 months after the incident, and Harold Walsh retired from his crossing guard position 13 months ago. "That's a lot of people leaving," Nora observed. Dr. Coleman nodded thoughtfully. It was an unusually high turnover rate. The trauma of losing a student, especially under such circumstances, it takes a toll on everyone. Some people just couldn't face coming back to work every day. A knock on the door interrupted them. An older woman peered in, grey-haired, wearing a cardigan despite the warm weather, with reading glasses on a beaded chain. "Dr. Coleman," I heard. "Oh my goodness, Nora, Mrs. Fitzgerald," Nora said, recognizing the longtime secretary. "Elilana, please join us," Dr. Coleman said. "Mrs. Fitzgerald has been here for 22 years. She knew Lily well." Eleanor Fitzgerald entered, her eyes already misting. "Oh, honey, I heard about what they found this morning. I'm so sorry." She settled into a chair, clutching a tissue. "That sweet little girl, she always said good morning to me when her class walked past the office. Such beautiful manners, Mrs. Fitzgerald." "We were just discussing staff members who left after Lily's disappearance," Dr. Coleman explained. Eleanor's expression hardened slightly. The police interviewed everyone extensively back then. They were particularly interested in Carl Brennan once that assault charge came to light. Spent hours with him. "What happened with that?" Nora asked. "Nothing ultimately. Carl had an airtight alibi. He was at a mandated counseling session that morning as part of his probation from that old charge. Had to sign in. Was on camera at the counseling center the entire time Lily would have been walking to school. The detective said there was no way he could have been involved. Elelana dabbed at her eyes. You know who really took it hard? Harold Walsh. That man blamed himself, something terrible. He organized search parties every single weekend for months, printed thousands of flyers with his own retirement money when the official search scaled back. I remember finding him crying by the crossing post one afternoon, saying he'd failed that little girl. Nora's phone buzzed. Detective Martinez's name appeared on the screen. Excuse me, I need to take this. Mrs. Whitfield, Martinez's voice was urgent. We've made some progress on the rental payments. They were sent to a P.O. box at the downtown postal center. Always postal money orders purchased with cash. Virtually untraceable, unfortunately. When did they stop? Nora asked, aware the others were politely pretending not to listen. That's the interesting part. The payments were made quarterly, never late, until exactly 1 year ago. Then nothing. No forwarding address, no contact information, just stopped. Nora's eyes drifted back to the computer screen to the list of departures. Harold Walsh retired. 13 months ago, several others around the same time. Coincidence? Surely. She was seeing patterns where none existed, her desperate mind trying to force connections. Thank you, detective. Keep me updated. She ended the call and looked at the expectant faces. They're tracing the rental payments. Dead end so far. Dr. Coleman leaned forward. Mrs. Whitfield, I'd be happy to reach out to some of our retired teachers if you think it would help. Sometimes people remember things years later that didn't seem significant at the time. That's kind of you, Nora said, suddenly exhausted. Let me process everything first. This has been a lot to take in. Eleanor reached over and squeezed her hand. We're here if you need anything. The whole school community never stopped caring.